This is a poem called The Windows of Heaven, dedicated to Rosario Murillo, and an excerpt from my book, Nicaragua Diary. I am free, free, free. In the city of tomorrow, in a world of confusion, Lady Rosario struggles toward the light, standing street-side and hungry for tomorrow, singing about the future and hungry for the sight. She had visions. She had nerve to burn, supervision. And she's a guide through the chaos, a road to the passion, between the earth and sky where love is like a drug. And as she looks into the windows of heaven, into the windows of heaven, and into the eyes of God, she is free, free, free. She had visions of God and visions of technology, visions of pure science and visions of her and me on the way to the world, on the way to the wheel, on the way to revolution, speaking in tongues. Tell us how you feel. And wrap yourself in love, wrap yourself in light. Wrap yourself in these words of this daughter of the night. I'll give you the fire, I'll give you the heart, I'll give you the burning desire to fly with the eagles, to soar like eagles in the clouds of heaven. See into the windows of heaven and into the eyes of fucking God, and you'll be free, free, free. In the theater of the future, in the theater of the air, Lady Rosario goes almost anywhere that she wants to, but every spring she wonders, is this the last spring? The specter of war doesn't do a bloody thing for my psyche or my sense of well-being or my brains. And what are you doing in Nicaragua? That doesn't rhyme with brains. I need some visionary action, direct action. And if the oceans of the earth opened up to tell me about love, I might believe it. And if the sky should burn, and if I was fool enough to turn around and look, I might believe it. But there's no love without peace, no peace without food. The kids know. It's on the radio. If you want to fly like the eagles, move the clouds of heaven, see into the windows of heaven and into the eyes of bloody God, you got to be like the little children. Just like the little children. And have love, 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 love. And we'll be free, free, free. Baring her teeth, this daughter of the night rips herself free into the future.
La Nopalera, a cluster of succulents. La Nopalera, stand defiant to time, money, and God, on a hill overlooking Lake Hollywood and LA below. Sentinels of ancient silent secrets planted in stardust when the land was called Aztlán, the Eden of the Aztecs. A conversation takes place between La Nopalera and Funkawat, the unknown Aztec god of funk. Who are these jive performance posers, poet pimps, wonderkin whores, and savage savants fleshed in subhuman skin? Rainbow immigrants carrying mutant children born of dream pollution. Who are these subversive fools who build temples of air and kill with words that offer artificial hearts to subhuman star gods? Who sing escape with greed, then call it entertainment art? What is this madness? Que locura. Funkawata stopped talking. Everybody was running scared. I looked back at my TV as time began to end. He reached out and grabbed me and said, "You're gonna die, my friend. You're drafted." So I shot him.
This is called missing person. I've been waiting for the night plane all day long, willing the phone to ring and wondering where you are. Trying not to believe that you've had second thoughts and maybe thirds. That the poetry you wrote for me was lack of sleep induced. I want to run downstairs and jump into your bed and be there waiting to dance all over your body till you sweat so that I can drink it. I want to eat you from the ground up, lick you between your thighs and breathe deep with my head buried in your armpit. Every curve locked to your head thrown back, and I break my legs up and down your body and bite your body, beg to suck on your tongue. I play tic-tac-toe on your chest and you run, super cold to your heart. You make me come and mean it.
Summer of '65, I run into Ray at school. They're forming a rock band of all things, calling it something really stupid like The Doors. Morrison's the lead singer. He can't even sing. I'm the folk singer around here. I ask if I can be in it, but girls aren't in rock groups yet. Then fall of '65, Rita and I, this other Ashgrove waitress, we make it on down to this dive on the strip, the London Fog. There's Morrison, leaning this way and that all over the stage, crooning in this foghorn voice. Manzara's pulling out this gliding music box sound. Oh, the songs. Crystal Ship. Light by Fire. Up in San Francisco on a prankster bus, I think it was '66. Hear them on the radio. Break on through. They've gone plastic. Later, January of '68, I found myself down by the wharf, dancing topless.
trained. My genes have holes in them. I know what I'm doing. I can act with the best of those Dennis Hooper types. Is it Hooper or Hopper? Hopper? Hooper? I don't know. He's cute. He lives in Venice. Potato. I don't know. You catch my drift. I've got to get an agent. And I will because I feel good. And I'm going off lithium soon. Drew, I'm getting my life together. And soon, I'll be getting residuals. Love, Lisa.
For Rosemary and Miss Ree. Westwood Boulevard 10th floor view between hits of push-button morphine, your first words after surgery. Is Curtis Mayfield still coming to town in October? Suddenly, I felt a lot better in the hospital.
Restless and burning, our souls are yearning. Still no heads are turning and no minds are learning. Our minds they're destroying, and this they're enjoying. Did we raise this generation? They're against segregation. They have no discrimination. They're without a sound vocation. How can we show this aching nation to be full of love's elation? They're too busy with machines, trying to own a limousine, wanting money by the score, so they won't be labeled poor, or be classed with you and me, being what we want to be, with our souls flying free, frowned on by society. Too quick to hurt each other, always judging one another, making others weep and not losing any sleep. Taking the name of God in vain doesn't cause them any pain. We cannot forget about it, and there's no way we can doubt it. While the TV tube is teasing, there are others who are freezing, and parts of this great nation are dying of starvation. The way of life is changing. The world needs rearranging. If all the hate would cease, we would need no more police. Everyone would be respected. No one would be rejected for the color of their skin or the financial shape they're in. And if we keep believing, ignoring the deceiving, love can lock the doors on any threat of wars.
I wrote that in November of '66.
Mick, you selfish bastard! You thought you could do it all on your own. You thought you could hire some faceless hacks and go out there, Japan, Australia. You didn't even have the balls to play America. Do jumping jack flash, sponsored by Reebok, while jumping around in your nighties looking like Don Knotsley's drag. You got the nerve, said Keith Richards. Keith, you know I love you. The skull, the eyeliner, the blood changes, Anita Pallenberg, Patty Hansen. I know you put up with a lot from me. I mean, there's Bianca, Margaret Trudeau, and of course Marianne Faithfull, Truman Capote. And what's he said to Brian Jones? I know you don't want to talk about that. I know you don't want to talk about that, but I'm begging you. I'm begging you, Keith. Please, let's put the Stones back together, said Mick Jagger. You skinny little faggot, said Keith. Here you are, 2 disastrous solo albums, keeping me waiting for 2 years while you try to establish yourself as a solo act, pathetically competing with George Michael and Prince, prancing around on your skinny little legs, defending yourself against copyright infringement, and begging me for a reunion. If I stuck my pen in my heart, indeed it's only rock and roll, well fuck you in the heart, Mick, said Keith. Now, sympathy for the devil, brown sugar, satisfaction, honky-tonk woman. You don't want to throw all that away, do you, Keith? Now I know. Said Mick. Well, get out of my fucking system, you big-lipped, jet-sitting wanker, said Keith. But Keith, said Mick, we have a responsibility to our fans. I mean, they want to see us. They need to see us. We mean so much to them, said Mick. Mean so much to them, said Keith. They don't even know who we are now. The kids have got Guns N' Roses. They're the new bad boys, for Christ's sake, with a bad middle-aged men, said Keith bitterly. To bring this down, you solo effort. The biggest that I mean, it didn't even make the top 40, said Nick. Nick, you ugly little prick, said Pete. At least I didn't go for a slick commercial attempt at a hit record. At least I stayed true to my roots, not like you opportunistic old queen, said Pete. All right, said Nick. This could be the last time, Pete.
On the road with Alice Cooper. I'd be real evil 3 minutes a night. The crowd loves the baddest pieces. 20,000 strong at Joe Louis Stadium in Detroit. Then, Lansing, Fort Wayne, Kalamazoo. These towns are living wonders. There's not a condo or a stucco apartment building anywhere. The cozy architecture defies the existence of such concepts as socialism, communism, imperialism, or apartheid. It's not that these places are particularly for or against anything. It's just that they don't seem to want to know about it, whatever it is. These are towns that see, hear, and speak no evil. The houses kind of watch you with heavy-lidded eyes when the shades are half drawn. Leaves crunch underfoot like shredded documents. But Tucson, Arizona was different. There were no leaves in Tucson. On Sunday, when I was there, downtown was as silent as a Sonata day. Only the sidewalk whispers of And in Columbus, Ohio, I fell in love with a white-haired department store clerk who talked like Jimmy Stewart. I'd have married him on the spot, but he wouldn't sign a prenuptial agreement, and I didn't want to share my assets. Was Louisiana my favorite? You bet. Down in the Vermilion Bayou, where Spanish moss hangs like snakes in the gum trees, in a burg known as Bro Bridge, I witnessed Americans eating frog's legs and gumbo as happily as anyone at Colonel Sanders anywhere. Old men sang their lids off in French, and every living body danced and whooped it up. America, it's a big place. I'm telling you, Charles, join a rock and roll band and see the world. It's much better than the Marines. Well, amigo, Long Beach in March. I guillotine Mr. Cooper for the local fans. Wear a blood bib anywhere in the first 6 rows. See ya. Your pal, Linda.
Nothing lasts forever. Something always said by Dan. And Mike wonders what life would be like if you never heard Stairway to Heaven again. Bill says, you can't get a ticket if you don't stop. And Kevin walks in with a new girlfriend, a new prop. Julie says she's sick of men and would rather be alone. Why is Lisa the name of every other girl I've ever known? Brent still sits there questioning what his life is. And Pat, from out of nowhere, says he's glad his mom don't surf. Well, there's Morgan at the party, standing by the beer. And Courtney, she's gone forever again. At least till next year. Martin became our mayor. For all the homeless he defended. And Ray just finished showing his newest film and says, you're welcome for being offended. All my friends and I seem to be in the same boat. You know, basically poor. I don't remember reading about this in 1984. We're in this time where we all seem to do just whatever damn well pleases. And more than once I've heard servants of the Lord shouting, just where the hell is Jesus? This guy I know is convinced that he
he's an alien, and he's just waiting for some sign. And another girl I thought would always be there is now no longer mine. Holly's on another interview. As an actress, she wants to grow. In this town, come on! Doesn't it all come down to who you know?
Homeboy's lost his rhyme and data tossed inside him. Hadn't crossed and fighting, clean from the outside. But what gets hurt? Hey, that's the word. Something else. Rupture structures them days, up the pumps these days. Pump the salt, sure way away the junction. Then, Hollywood, but couldn't. Though I could, wouldn't. Book me with Madonna, find me a turbo red Sonata. Figured I could marry every dictionary, find the truth that's buried in the suit we carry. Give me the I follow. Whistleblower from I know. Boy folks messed up. I choke.
It started when I pulled into the Arco station. I looked in the mirror and saw flames flickering from the corners of my mouth, twitching like nervous lizard tails. I tried to pretend that nothing unusual was happening. I smiled and asked for $15 if super unleaded. But the fire was burning through the palms of my hands, and feathers were pricking their way through my skin. When I went to pay, the charge card melted in my hand.
Letters to Ziola. How great it would be if the sun lost all responsibility and left us here. For me, today has become an excuse. But I too have found a way of not waking up. I've been asleep now for days and days and days. I feel as if I'm sitting in an open boxcar and it's heading out of town. It looks like the inside of a prison cell. I'm scared. And I'm excited. My days and my dreams have never known each other so well. In the course of my day, I have no idea where I'm going. But in my dreams, no matter where I end up, soon the sleep rolls over me. I sneak out and head downtown. My dreams allow me to cheat. My dreams punish me. They're so vivid. I see pictures so clear, it would be forgery to paint them. I hear songs as clear as a summer radio. Songs that pass the time as the boxcar heads south. I woke up in the late afternoon. On a day like this, I wonder if you age less because you didn't use all of it. You see, if that's so, then you should be able to live twice as long as anyone else just by waking up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Turn on the late afternoon TV. There's all the career school commercials, drug addict, alcohol rehabilitation commercials. I think to myself, gee, I'd like to have a drink and get high. And the phone rings. okay between the two of us. It's funny, you know, but inspirational messages always seem most possible when you're totally wasted. What do I need? What is gonna bring me around? It's not listening to ex-drug addicts. I know for a fact all drug addicts are liars. I get off on athletes when they start getting all inspirational. Then they gotta go and mention Jesus and ruin it. Weight loss commercials pretty good, you know. Some 40-year-old lady who's lost 85 pounds. And I look at her and I think she could not possibly have more guts than I do. The Bible's never really done it for me. Being an extremist, I always thought it was just too popular. There's a paper in Los Angeles called The Recycler. The Recycler has given me a lot of inspiration. I remember when I first moved here and the determination that I had to get a job, find a band, get an apartment. You know, if only I had a cool apartment. I'll save every penny and I'll buy myself some equipment. Always just 2 or 3 steps behind happiness. It's too bad they don't do centerfolds or cover stories. I'd kind of like to be on the cover of The Recycler. I had no friends at the time. All my friends now are drug addicts. I don't believe that I would ever wish that I had no friends. You never met Bernice or Alfred. There are a couple that have been through thick and are very thin. Bernice is usually in a better mood than I am when I see her. She lives on the street. She's an adorable Mexican girl. She seems like if you were to take her home and scrub her up, she'd probably start singing and become America's sweetheart. Alfred sits on the curb and reads. He reads more than I do. I'd like to believe it's because he's got time. Last dream I had, I drove downtown and I just stayed there. Hung out with Alfred. Both sat on the curb, talking all sour over current events. While Bernice and Casey hustled up the business. Adding up credit with Kiko. It amazes me how little difference there is make-believe individual that never lived. A man who knows what to do with his time is a man, I guess, that's up in the front of the line. In the course of a day, a man can make 3 phone calls and make $3,000. Another man can curl up his bicep for 3 hours and he can puff up his arm 3 inches. And another man can stand on the corner chasing down cars for 3 hours and end up with 3 spoons credit with Kiko. Me, I spend days on end trying to come up with a 3-minute poem that's gonna mean something to somebody. I've never been satisfied. Maybe I should try scrubbing up Bernice.
That mood music doesn't improve my mind.
I like it a lot when I seem to be rational.
The day will come when I will be free of him.
It seems like months since I thought about it.
The days have been so melancholy lately. Alone. Always alone.
It's nice to put on a fresh pair every now and then.
The other side of that wall, it's so white, empty.
Wild and wet, my soldier eats his mayonnaise hand.
He always looks so still and absorbed, like he's watching something only he can see. What is he thinking? Of me, maybe?
Isn't it nice to sometimes forget the sex handle that we all have?
His gloved hands are folded like a glove. I have to rest my head there.
Some music, and then maybe a bite of food or something.
I wonder if he's thinking of me. What's he thinking of?
This weekend my friends will visit. Company relieves tension.
Oh well, I've got to stop obsessing. I'm always keeping myself awake at night. Thinking. Always thinking too much. I should go home.
Marlon Brando and Steve McQueen came by on their motorcycles. During a full moon, Marlon Brando and Steve McQueen came by on their motorcycles to see if I was interested in the smell of sweat elevator. Even though I was behind the door, I could tell they were wondering as they skated up my street, blasting their taste in music loud and hard. They waited in a room, but my mother wouldn't let me go out after dark. I would have gone just like that. But whose bike would I get on? Whose back would I press my face against? So I would have break. It's a good thing my mother was so strict.
Is it the blues? You feel bad because you're lonely, and you think it's because you're too old, and you must not remember how bad life can feel sometimes when you were too young. Or you think that is now between us. Having been burned by the Java, I'm feeling reckless, and I ask, is that a script? Did you read it? Your skin flashes redder than Timothy Leary's eyes, and you stand and you scream, yes! Maniacally laughing and ripping at your clothes. So then I begin to say, and stop as you say, yes! Dress! You scream as your clothes fly into blood-spattered confetti, and your skin peels and then splashes across the room, spraying the walls like a Jackson Pollock, revealing your true form. 19 feet tall, a red ant's face and neck, the claws of a 10,000-pound lobster, the body of a black widow spider spiked with steel instead of hair, and in your crotch, a stainless Venus flytrap notched with the initials of the victims, most of whom were actors, producers, directors, crew members, and fortunately a few studio executives. Your legs are human, but melted into them are white lace stockings from Fredericks, Hollywood, and on your feet, an attractive pair of red spiked heels with an on-sale tag dangling from your left shoe. Your claws are swinging wildly around the kitchen, leaving crescent-shaped cracks all around me. The walls and the ceilings vibrate as a roar begins in your belly and explodes into the air. I will say my word. Knowing that I'm fighting for my future as a father, I play it close and I say, yeah, of course, I knew it all along, but I figured you had enough of that shit, so I decided to be cool about it. Thank you! You bellow with foam squirting out of your mouth as your head haunches forward, brushing your antennas against my cheek. Seeing that you're coming in for the kill, I casually remark, so you have an audition today? Yes, and I must prepare myself. Your trap opening and closing with the rhythm of a cannibal cookout. Well, let's read your script then, I say. You abruptly halt your assault and say, oh, you want to hear me read? Sweat begins pouring from your face as saliva drips from your mouth like tears at a wedding. You pick up your script, sit down in your chair, and begin chanting, wah, 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 mwee, 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 wah, wah. You pause, close your eyes, and when you open them, your body that was once splattered around us is drawn back like an implosion band was attached to each particle. You reassemble, smile, pick up your script, and say, a man has a line, would you like to read it? Sure, I say. You're not an actor, are you? You say, beginning to turn red again. No, I'm a migrant poet passing through a few stanzas on my way to a quarto. Good, you say, relaxing your gaze. Let's read. I glance at the copy. I have one line. It just might save my life. Before it is the announcer's voice. Men know you're wearing it. Women sense your scent and resign themselves to your superior skills. Now her part. Cut to a gorgeous, elegant woman. I glance up. She is pouting at me like a flounder against a glass tank window. Horrifying. Then I notice it's my line. Clearing my throat, I say, there's something about an aquavulva woman. She smiles and says, and don't you forget it. That felt good! She bellows, about to revert back to her original self, but before she can, I tip the table, run out the door. After a few steps, I turn back and I see her claws making their way through the back door, but her 19-foot frame is just too much. As the extension at the back of the house collapses around her, she cries out, wait! I can do it differently! Her scream is cut short by the falling frame. Later, down at police headquarters, I'm off the hook after interrogation by 2 cops and an entomologist. I walk away, hands thrust deeply in my pockets, walking a bit slower than most, thinking, female impersonators. That's what they are. Damn shame we couldn't have found out sooner. Could have saved some good men from the castrati contingency. Guess I'll be a little more careful. Spend a few weeks at 2 Bunch Palms. Look at the desert. Drink a few Cokes.
Women. He's attracted to girls. It's easy to tell because he doesn't like to talk. Women like to talk. Women want their men to talk. Women like to know what's going on. So this guy likes girls because girls are easy to impress and don't know there's a difference between a guy and a man. Women do. Women make guys into men if they're given the chance, and that's not a bad thing because real men can be hot when they talk the truth and take chances and listen. Real men are so sexy, no woman can turn them down. But some guys will never know that. They don't want to know, because it's hard work to be a man.
Funeral on Fairfax. There's a funeral on Fairfax. Deposed countesses are spitting chunks of seeded Hebrew, dragging rheumatic husbands to a suicide of stuffed cabbage and piano music, or rummaging in piles of unwanted Cossack flatware loaded in a Holocaust garage. Better get there quick before Sharona, Yemenite she-bitch, claims it all as a great day for the Albanian Communist Party. There's a funeral on Fairfax. The rabbis are looking to score. We've just returned from 4 days of China. The weather was incredible. It snowed huge flakes of geisha girl. But now we're back, and Israeli wenches with eyes dyed brown murder wanna fuck me dry and feed me pita and blare falafel arias on the hot rod stereo of their Jerusalem Toyotas. There's a funeral on Fairfax. The downstairs garbage swims obsolete Christmas and angry hypodermic. There's heroin in the rye bread. Beware of bad boys from Marseille. The insane girl next door screams from the dungeon of a halfway house daydream. I need to burn my hair. I have just crawled out from under the rock of a 20-hour sleep and am dragged telepathic through the Mandelbrot Street to Prayer Ground, Holy Land, Sam and Ruby Kosher Butcher, where I daven before a sacred breast of veal, or have my chosen shoes fixed by Maury the Maven and a million ghosts of Ellis Island, herring, schmaltz, and hollow bells of Shabbos, a billion years of Jew, buying the same terrified flannel.
make exceptions for, make excuses about. The kind you'd pick flowers, ring around the rosies, say you love me not, all day. The kind who never asks, never says please, just smiles temptation, circled with the invitation of the sexiest lips. Had you seen him, you'd understand why the wind follows him with trails of leaves, hurricanes, deadly women chasing him, not for revenge, for more love. A love only musicians and bad boys give, 'cause love to them is in the mechanics, in the geometrics, in the analytical, in the crescendo, in the overture, in their staccato glares, burning nose still in an esophageal state. Love to them is in the moment, a reconstruction of prior events. All else is unintentional. So if you had seen him, you'd understand why I walked away, though his breath kissed spaces between my toes. Why I tried to forget, though I still remember, even today, as I drove through a quiet storm descending on the hillside. I saw the wings of his devil in the halo of my fear, and then it all made sense.
Blues came like Langfontaine, blues came like Ethel Waters, blues came. Yeah, blues came like Marie Bryant, blues came like Pat Size, blues came singing the blues. Blues, been low, yeah, man, that's mellow. Blues came like Big Mama Thornton, hey, that bitch should play the goddamn harp. Blues just been low, man, it shakes, shivers, and stumbles, hits the ground. Yeah, holy face of Hollywood, I've been found.
Miles Davis of the Pantages, April 23rd, 1988. Sun and moon, those gold and silver clothes, giving it all away, giving away nothing. It's play the mystery and know that the mystery won't be played. We're brilliant in our secrets, the arsenal of bells from Tibet, Mexico, Africa, above the percussionist's head. That's us. And the hunched over ballad, everybody moans. The stranger next to me hands me his binoculars so I can see gold. This radical harmony, as if we've been friends for a long time. We have, in music and dreams, in human love and dying. The glimpses of each of us after this is done, taking ourselves to bed where we hold on to what sleeps with us, and then let go, so the moon can change us. As Saturday passes midnight, here's the ocean where we can still hear the music before anybody wrote it down. It hasn't left the stage at the Pantages. It never will. Its cells creating themselves from themselves. History as might, lifted to feet we can walk on. It's the planets I thought of when I thought of Miles. Those carriers of fate, the brilliance and the hushed shifting of orbits we can't and don't want to escape.
The word was out that Coltrane was going to make his first solo appearance
that night, I remember I had to go alone to see Train. He was playing at the Renaissance. I got there at 8:45, I believe it was. No, it was probably more like 8:15 because they went on at 9. And the joint was just being, tables were being readied and everything. And it was just me and the waitresses. And I felt a little silly, but I was so excited I was actually getting nervous. And I got a chair. My seat was like right under the piano stool, just directly down from the piano stool, and I had a perfect view right through the piano stool, right to the drums. And of course I couldn't take my eyes off of the drums. I couldn't believe I was sitting there looking at Elvin Jones's drums. And I noticed that he had an extra pedal sitting there next to the kit, which I started imagining that he must be this animal playing live, that he would have to have another pedal there, that he would be playing so hard that he would break his pedal and he'd have to reach down and grab another pedal. This was pre-heavy metal. Anyway, they came on, and the first note was just took everybody out completely. McCoy playing piano like nobody had ever heard anybody play the piano before, ever. And Reggie Workman just sounding enormous for some reason, just a great bass sound, huge bass sound, and really playing physical, very physical band. And Elvin sweating from the first song, boy, just dripping with sweat, and playing hard, and playing all these incredible polyrhythms, and Train, just playing like I'd never heard him play before, really, with the kind of music that they were playing. Train was playing. It was unbelievable because I had no idea where they were most of the time. I didn't know how they knew. It was so phenomenal just to listen to these guys play and just to be so tight and so together. Train, it was like they were one. During the intermission, I was in the bathroom and Bobby Hutcherson came in, and I think Herbie Lewis was in there. And they were all just raving and raving. They said, well, no, I remember Bobby's quote was, nobody will ever be the same again in L.A. And, it was heavy. It sounds almost corny now to say this, and it even seems corny in my mind when I play it back, but so does all the adulation of the Beatles and all that at the time. But it was big. It was really big. Train coming to town that night, playing that first night, was a huge thing to happen to LA musicians. I mean, they had already gone a little bit past the cool stage, and everybody was listening to Miles and all the East Coast guys at that point. But that was the capper. That did it. When you saw those guys doing that in person, playing like that in person. And it's true. Nobody was the same after they came to town. Anyway, after the gig, I drove home, and I was overwhelmed, of course, on the way home. I couldn't believe what I just heard. And I got to, I went straight to my girlfriend's apartment, and then I was explaining to her what she knew that I loved jazz, that was my main love. And she said, well, how was it? And I said, I can't even tell you. And I started trying to explain all these things about the polyrhythms and the modal music and just the blend that they were all getting, and the force, the pure physical force, and the grooves and everything, and the sounds. And as I was explaining it to her, I couldn't help it. I was just so overwhelmed, I started crying.
But, Ruby, my dear, he hikes those narrow chords one more time to a dingy walk up on the outskirts of ecstasy. He knows every note of her, down to that maddening musky treble from between her dusky thighs, even as he raps twice to let her know he means business, and hears her sinful "Who's there?" as she unlocks the double bass count. He's gonna put hurt on her. He's gonna love her like winter loves snow. He's gonna make her, beyond that scratchy 78 whining, dreary days and whiskey nights, beyond that too sweet smoky andante, beyond that hunger for impossible freedom, to the heart of melody, where they will go to steam in the jazzified, mystical sanctity of discordant fusion.
To use or not to use the F word. The year was 1960. The place was called the LeGrand Theater. The play was called The Connection. Every night the police was stationed at the entrance. If the F word was uttered, they would close us down. Remember, it was 1960. They all paid their money to see the neo-realistic play with music about junkies waiting for their fix. Jack Gelber's The Connection. One of the major attractions was the jazz great Dexter Gordon and Dexter's group, with Roosevelt Wardell on piano, George Morrow on bass and the nod, and Lawrence Marable, a fabulous drummer. Dexter composed an original score, and believe me, it was incredible. For instance, when the character I played was called Leech, decided to shoot up, and because of his personal greed overdosed, Dexter played I Want More. There you go, Sister Salvation was a throbbing spiritual type tune in honor of the Salvation Army sister played by the haunting Laura McCann. And Robert Blake, oh, Robert Blake, my co-star, and a truly gifted actor, played Ernie. Dexter composed Ernie's tune to go under, to go over, during a half-hour brilliant monologue delivered by Robert. The Connection company of actors was exceptional. All accomplished, all breathing life into their characters. The solid Jan Peters, the sensual Harry Rhodes, the unpredictable Horace Herbie, and Richard Stegman and Alan Emerson and Robert Getz, Stan Getz's younger brother, and Bob O'Neill, all under the direction of the inspired Brian G. The producers of The Connection were Chris Segura, the great gal, and Al Ruddy, who, interestingly enough, was selling shoes on Pico Boulevard just before we opened. And, well, look, we all have to stop someplace. Years later, Al was awarded the Best Picture of the Year Oscar for producing The Godfather. Brian Hutton went on to direct some of the most popular films ever made. To some, The Connection was a sideshow, a freak show with music. But to me, it was a creative experience the likes of which I never had seen. I was interpreting a script by a talented writer under the guidance of a compassionate, inspiring director. I was being the most fulfilled I could be on a stage full of dedicated actors and extraordinary musicians. As I said, we were all junkies waiting for the connection. That was 1960. Almost 30 years. Sitting around the room, waiting for their connection. All the performers on the show. It's kind of ironic that the only ones who received an Oscar nomination in all these years
believe the girls love me. I also think that Charles can see that I should work in a retail store, that the earth has cancer at its core, that I got laid when I was 4, and Pernell Roberts really knows the score. Someone shoved a knife up the ass of life, and the only thing funny is Barney Fife. I love to live in damp, dirty rooms. I want to buy a condo next to Elvis's tomb. I want to know if I was ejected from the womb just to feel like this. I want to hear the deafness of you, all with patent leather ears. I want bigger eyes and much smaller tears. Oh, I can't believe that life's like this. I can't stand the pain. I can't believe God looks at us unless this is a game. Someone stuck a knife up the ass of life, and the only thing funny is Barney Fife, and they never play that show anymore.
The Hollywood Doctor. Went to see a Hollywood doctor the other day. Nurse in the outer office had me fill out a card. "Oh, you want my resume?" I said. "Just fill it out," she said. I did, took the card in with me to see the doctor. He glanced down at it, looked up at me. "You don't look too sick," he said. "I know," I said apologetically. I've been away." "Oh," he said, having heard that one before. I tried not to show I was nervous. He said, "You got down here you had flu in St. Louis." "Yeah," I said. That was 6 months ago." "How long did it last?" he asked. 4 weeks, I said. I lied. It was only a weekend, but I was desperate. He made a note somewhere on a pad, then raised his glasses on his nose. "You ever been sick in New York or Chicago?" No," I said. My throat was dry, palms sweaty. "What's your best x-ray?" he asked. "Well, I got a touch of pleurisy about a year ago and a fractured bone in my left arm." "No fractures," he said, waving his hand. "Well," I shrugged. "Well," he shrugged back. He said, "Look, I got some hepatitis coming in soon, just a small epidemic, but, you look a bit too healthy to me." "Oh, I can get a haircut," I said. "I'll lose weight, stay up all night. I have this x-ray I got in Bakersfield." "Never mind," he said. "That's all right. I tell you what," he said as he walked me to the door. "If I get any head colds, I'll call you." "Oh, thanks. A head cold will be fine. Even the sniffles for a night. Anything you got. I can handle the shakes, a twitch," and I was shaking his hand as he let me through the door, and I walked quickly past the rest of his patients, sitting in the outer office, coughing into their photographs, feeling their one-liners, fainting on the floor. And I walked out into the open air, and I took a deep, deep breath and felt, unfortunately, fine.
Dust. An excerpt. Dust of astronauts travels the jet stream to settle on facelifts in Daytona Beach. Dust of ball games, Fall Guy, Lady Di, mince pie. Come on, jump in! Barbie dolls, stolen towels, the president's bowels. Mystery dust disease giving cancer to children of Fresno. These news narratives whisper through dust flecks into window receptors, settling in ear canals on top of light bulbs. They are pieces of thought wiped away by Q-tip and Windex, while the baggage of my water and dust does not travel on a jet above continents. Electronic typewriter ribbon dust rests on video parchment in the embassy compounds of television game shows. Movies of the week take over the country, proclaiming pledge as their sovereign god. We will rule the universe between commercials. We are the most intelligent animals, creating waxed beauty instantly as we dust. There's an inconceivable breach of reality when dust passes through the air, some indistinguishable subject which motivates itself by the sheer existence of itself, an absolute decision of being, a form with no practiced destination. Is a further disintegration even possible? Yes. Some politesse of air, movement, and instant completion. For simply doing what it is supposed to be doing, it is everything, and is going Dust has no home, no time, no century, free of all obstacles, powered by wind, scattered matter of the great engines of Detroit, deceased matter of strip mines, miles deep, gone and carried on air. Good to the last drop. You can eat it with a fork, but you won't want to. Body bags, disposable diapers, schizo snipers, tabloid photos of the dead. For added protection and confidence, cleans and dusts as it polishes. Original reconditioning formula, genuine cubic zirconium, moving, searching for meaning or form or content, orbiting in a block of sunlight, penetrating glass, illuminating you made of nothing. Harried, workers strive toward building forms, each inch measured, each room fulfilled, and nowhere are you not found. You are always there, my friend, crackling in wind-up voice boxes of presidential press secretaries, in the sad, distracted glare of homeless game show prize-presenting models, sizzling in drops of rain, acidifying Emmy-winning swimming pools, in New Deal bridges, subway dwellers, sparkling wine coolers, exploding grain elevators, trillion-dollar expenditures, in the megaton paper waste of 1 billion buildings, in the waxed lips of censorship lobbyists, in the powder burns of donut terrorists, in the video disaster thought balloons of hair-sprayed newscasters.
Roll titles. Music fades up. Long shot of LA, city of pigs. Tall buildings of the fingering skyscape reach up to touch the colors of sky that paint the metro and its people. Cut to montage of shots. Zoom in to approach. Zoom in to introduction. Set atmosphere. Cut to close-ups. Extreme close-ups. Hollywood. Just another city. A street corner. Just another Hollywood street corner laden with twisted dreams and laughing hope. Cut to downtown, pregnant with pedestrians speaking languages from everywhere. Foreign cars, belching American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Arab oil, all with American blessings. And there is music. The music of impatient auto horns and monosyllable sentiments underscored by the humming of rushing water rubber tires and the sounds of construction that never stops. The music is a symphony for a savior to rise from the ashes of the asphalt, a survivor to strut the sun-tanned streets and sidewalks, the coolest of cool to walk on water. Cut to exterior night, a bus stop at a little-known place in LA called Pig Street. Othello, fresh from somewhere, steps off of the ragged greyhound bound to this route for eternity. Othello has Samsonite and bucks bulging from his cock, honey on his lips, blood in his cheeks, a locomotive breath, soft music in his speech, and angels in his eyes, just like every other innocent, ignorant son of a bitch that ever rode that bus. Cut to interior. The dawn, like an old dog, fetches the Times to the doorstep, then gently rouses the sleeping pigs with an obedient tongue and rest at the foot of the bed. They have spent the night dreaming of dreaming. It is almost time to step into the picture of day framed by Pig Street, where they gather about their televisions, pimping their minds with commercials. This is the birthplace of vision. Golden boys, presidents, millionaires, pretty young girls with smooth, soft, marble faces that grow old in a span of seconds. Where fuck means nothing and fucking is everything. The home of Chrome Goliaths, which once rolled out of great American cities like Detroit. It is rivers of beer, it is rivers of tears. This is the birthplace of the final flight of hope, and this is where they wait for prophets to beget to martyrdom on altars of apathy, for the next great white hope, the next great war that will end everything except the next great war, the next great reason for living, the second coming, the first, for the enigma of love. They wait for John Wayne and an America that was never wrong, the next great earthquake that will send California slipping into the ocean like Atlantis. They wait for hamburgers and French fries and search for the perfect shake, and they wait patiently for the bomb. and one hot, wet second of pleasure and a blinding flash and a white-hot meltdown to God. And they wait for God. And they wait. Cut to Othello, humping his best girl's picture with memories of a past and promise of a future. As the pavement sucks his virginity, the film begins.
Hollow screams, burnout dreams. This one's for David. Climb into my bed with me for another round of ecstasy. A long way from Birmingham, UK to Hollywood, and baby, you're in for something good. I know for a start you'll never stay. Jaded history, emotional decay. Candles and incense, music and stars, atmosphere to mask our battle scars. I lick your face, I kiss your hair, fantasizing about the stranger who's lying there. Wrestling with demons in my big, big bed, while a silver and blue angel is stroking my head. Don't look for signs in my weary eyes. Don't play with love, I'm much too wise. Save your sweet talk, words ring so untrue, when a space and time is all I share with you. The morning light, you disappear. Don't make no promises when the meaning's clear. 'Cause miles away, whatever you've got left to give is taken. Another nighttime spent with the forsaken. Sometimes I wonder about stuff you said while you were lying inside my head. And I'm supposed to pretend you no longer exist. But how can I forget the way we kissed?
White noise. Monday, Michael smoked the color television. This wasn't just any old TV. This was a megabucks marvel of micro-miniaturization. A fully cable-ready, stereophonic, Dolby-equipped, analog to digital translating, cellulose encompassed polychromatic cathode ray tube. Truly state-of-the-art technology. And Michael put it to the charge. He chopped it into pieces, popped it in the pipe, and poof, white noise. More numbing than night network programming. His brain crackled and hissed. His vision was blurred over. His heart thudded like an overloaded woofer about to shatter its casing. It was the best high he ever had. Better even than the VCR he smoked last week. Tomorrow he plans to torch the satellite dish.
My celibate summer. The heat broke in August after a dull spring. I waded under the thick sky of Los Angeles. I let my windshield get dirty. I loud-lunged with Bob Marley on the 405, blasting out about some woman somebody loves, some baby sometime. And the summer kicked in. The girl kicked the air crisp like cocaine. A blue freeze sharp on the freeway that stayed cool at night and kept me in my car, kept me smoking dope and driving, or kept me quiet, alone at home.
The first thing that I am going to lose is my mind, my language. That I will have my tongue torn out and I may never speak again.
And in the silence, in the blackness, in the hull of this slave ship, I will lose my God.
My body will never die.
My body will not die.
1619, 1989.
1619, 1989.
2.5 months, poor accommodations, room for 300, 800 close pack. I will come to Ogun's bloody land, America.
In June 1989, HIV-2 will come to America from Africa. AIDS will kill us. Crack from Latin America will kill us. America will not be held responsible. George Washington, who will own me, will slip away from Martha and fondle me and phthalate me.
And it won't be until June 1989 that George Bush and Dan Quayle will get enough nerve to finger fuck me, to fuck me.
I did not come to America a free man. I will not die in America a free man. Automatic conclusion, we know.
I see you, Gree-Gree Mama.
I see you, Gree-Gree Mama.
Goddess of democracy.
Goddess of democracy.
I see the future.
I see the future.
In the hull of this slave ship. I will not die.
I will not die.
In America.
In America.
A free man.
A free man.
No one could heal from this. No one could heal from this. No one could heal from this. What is my future here? Olokun, let's do something. Olokun, let's do something soon.
I'll file my little horns sharp and paint my toenails the color of fire and charm you into another seizure. Watching your eyes roll back in their sockets, baby, I'm amazed, I'll admit, as I watch your long serpent tail flinch and throb and whack the floor every which way in mad spasms, pinche exasperation. You must live among the southern lights. Are you the dragon in an eastern sky? You're from the caves of Guerrero, no? Whatever it is, I always find you surrounded in stars, drunk off the sake o el pulque, sustaining a harbor of sorrows, estimado viejo, el hombre condenado. You set horizons to fire, and over jaded cliffs you try to cast on me one of those spells of locura. You slap coraje to the wind's face until the night thunders. Your flaming heart hurls lightning bolts into the sky, piercing swollen clouds that bleed the sacred waters over me again, and I live near the river's edge, rest this wounded heart on a solid rock. I wonder about the colcha creases on my legs and which one of the santos I forgot to light the candle for tonight.
It is easy. It is easy to believe that we are still in the Middle Ages. Watch what happens when the electricity goes off. Or the idea of a holiday celebration in Detroit is to burn down their houses. It's encouraged to hate rather than love, unless it is a so-called love that is obsessive, dependent, jealous, and life-destroying. It's encouraged to believe that smoking cigarettes and dreaming of dying like Sylvia Plath is sexually attractive. It's encouraged to believe that ignorance is cool and that being greedy is being shrewd. It is not encouraged to look for the unchanging history of nature that we falsely believe we are separate from. It is not encouraged to follow the trail of consciousness until we become the serpent swallowing our own tail. It's encouraged to strive toward insanity and death in a culture that thinks God is patriotic, that can't tell sentimentality from emotion, and confuses misery and depression with art.
I bless the light and love of Hollywood. Last night, March 14th, I walked a sad solace down Sunset, past Zodi's with its final sale, past liquor stores, hookers, pimps. I came to Los Angeles March 5th, 18 years ago, via 5 years in New York. From Nebraska, small town, 8,000 population. With a woman these days, a son with girlfriend. He goes out late to music shows, the beach, in town. He has no doubt youth, energy. I bought the Herald Examiner and 4 lottery tickets. I went home, saw that it was 7:30, turned on Channel 5 on the color TV in the bedroom, watched a PBS show on the black and white one in the living room till 8, when the first movie I starred in, Fighting Mad, came on, starring in a movie by a fine director, enjoying the fun and violence and pop color. I thought about James Dean in his dark overcoat, collar turned up, a cigarette in his hand not far from his mouth, a solitary figure walking on a wet bridge, gray sky. I am one actor out of thousands, passed before me in this town, working, watching, a good role one has played, alone, cognac, cats. I came to this town to get work as an actor, and thank God, with the grace of God, I am grateful each time I get an acting job.
Cassavetes. He'd walk us outside into the large yard of the world's story of people and their relationships with one another. He'd talk to us in his films about men and women and their odd rivers of wondrous idiosyncrasies. A lot of people with nervous blood in no time labeled him self-indulgent. I never heard it or saw it. Rather vulnerable people trying to learn each other's songs. He would let the scene work itself to a peak rather than get caught in the MTV fast cut. He would let his people slowly burn to an energy that would reach out to you and get at you and shake you and say, "This is how we dance." He'd act in mediocre movies to make the money necessary to make his films, the films that sing. He died yesterday at the age of 59. I said his films sang. They sing today, tomorrow, next year. They sing in your blood, and the song is of the skin and what plays there.